All right, I will open up the meeting at 4:15. Sorry for the delay. Um, the first thing I'd like to just go over is the stipend. So Diane's stipend that we do twice a year for her to help us here at the finance committee. So the amount that's requested is $2,000.
That's for the whole year.
Oh, that's
We
for the
didn't.
whole year.
We didn't do
We
it
never did it.
earlier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is the whole year stipend, 2,000.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor to
Aye.
approve? Aye.
Aye.
Great. I'll sign
Thank you.
this. Yep. All right. Is there anything else, Diane, like that we need to take care of before we jump into the warrants?
No.
Okay. All right, so the next thing we'll just go through are the warrant articles. I don't need one, Mike. I'm good. Yeah.
So the board of selectmen has all voted for these? They've approved these?
Yes, they reviewed them last week and those were they're probably gonna formally vote on them next week after it's been finalized. But that, as of about now, those were the articles that they reviewed last week.
Okay. Thanks.
Hey, Bill, we just got started on because we were a little late.
I don't.
So the first page that I find more helpful is just this kind of one page that lists all of the articles. So there's kind of a description of what the article is, but then on the far right-hand side, you can see the amount that's being requested. Some of these are annual requestments, so social services, wheat, annual requests. The tax rebate program, is that an annual request?
Yes.
Yeah. Cable. But then the other items, and many of them that are either free cash or borrowing, those were mostly included in the department heads' presentations of their budget. They kind of mentioned what they would be asking for. So maybe we can just go one at a time. I'm going to start at number 13 because those first few are kind of just annual asks, but I'm going to start at number 13. Just seems like an unpaid bill, $1,800 from free cash. Jumping down to number 17, stop along the way too if you have any questions for me or Mike. The downtown funding and the holiday lighting, as I think that's a biannual article that we'll have
It is.
for $100,000. So this year is one of the on years for that. That's
Wait a
for,
minute. Are we gonna vote on these?
I think let's go through them and then can we do one blanket vote to approve?
I don't want to do that.
Oh, you want to go one at a time?
Well, I see one here that I'm not gonna vote for.
Okay, let's vote then one at a time. Do we have to vote to approve like the social services and the weed assessment?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. All right, let's,
But I mean, we could, could just go through the ones that require the finance committee and say Article 2, Article 3, and if anybody says, well, and if we can get to it, Article 5, Article 6. Now, my problem is with, oh, now I lost it.
Facilities director vehicle, let me guess.
That's it, Article 18. I'm not voting for that.
no?
No. No, I mean, it's like I say. Well, I mean, when we get there, I'll tell you what.
Okay. I don't
But-
think we can vote on Article 2 yet because we haven't really finalized the budget, right? So we might have to wait for next week on that.
Right, but if it's a matter of, Article 2 is just setting compensation for a large, for.
Town employee.
So it doesn't matter
Time.
if the amounts aren't finalized yet. Okay. All right, Mike, do you mind making the motion? Like, you know what I mean? So that we can just
Well,
say,
I would just suggest if we go slowly,
yeah,
for example, because here's one of the things I found, that as you were going through, many of them I didn't even have a chance to read.
well, let's start with number 2 then.
Okay. And I mean, and if nobody has any trouble with Article 2, we can go to Article 3.
Well, we gotta make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve Article 2.
Second.
All in favor, Article 2?
Aye.
All right, Article 3. Okay, so this is to raise the tax.
That's the entire budget.
Yeah,
So that one, we might not
We
be
might
able
not be
to
able to do
approve.
that one.
Although, I don't. We're going to approve it sooner or later anyway, because it's our budget.
Right, it would be your budget. when it
So-
goes to town meeting, so
Even without a final budget, we could know that we're gonna
That
approve.
you'll be supporting whatever.
All right, so
Whatever we approve down the
I
line.
move that we approve Article 3.
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
4, we don't need to vote on, right? If it doesn't say finance committee, we don't have to
Right.
vote on it. Okay. Article 5 is the $4,800 for social services.
For we, is that we?
Yeah,
I make a motion, we approve Article 5.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Article 6 is the annual wheat contribution, $20,000.
I make a motion, we approve Article 6.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Article 7. So these are the revolving accounts.
I make a motion that we approve Article 7.
Are those the same as last year, Mike?
There was one change that the town accountant suggested in the gas and plumbing inspector to increase that, went up to 65,000. Yeah, it was 50,000 last year, up to 65. All the other ones are the same.
Do you know who oversees the Fuller Field Is that with Parks and Rec? or-
They don't use it anymore. We keep it open, but they haven't
Just-
used it in years.
Okay. All right.
Really? Why don't we just close it out and put it into free cash?
If we started to charge fees for the use of the field, we would use the same fund.
Wouldn't we be
because
in,
This doesn't affect anything. There would be no activity in the fund.
Okay,
But this
all right.
says if there were, we could use it.
okay,
Okay.
And the Parks and Rec revolving is a separate statute, so it's not
Right.
under this, so they get their own special legislation for Parks and Rec. so.
All right, I make a motion, we approve Article 7.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Article 8. Oh, this is the Veterans Tax Rebate Program annually, 25,000.
So this is down from 50, Michael?
Right, after we discussed on Thursday, they haven't used, hasn't used more than 25,000 in the last several years. Then there was discussion about adding the HERO Act, veteran property exemption. So if that was going to cost money, then we could reduce the amount under this program to put that towards the veterans program, so.
I make a motion, we approve Article 8.
Second.
All in favor? Boy. Okay, Article 9.
Yeah, and that one there, it doesn't have a number in it because it's just accepting the statute to allow the town to increase the veterans exemptions. I mean, it does have a financial impact. I think historically, the board has only voted on dollar figures, but certainly you could take a position on it if you wanted on that. So,
Do you know what the last year's dollar figure was?
No,
Approximately?
this is new.
This is new.
the new, this
I
is.
thought we voted on the last year.
Yeah,
huh?
I think it's one that Mr. Bailey was saying. I think he was anticipating it would be about $50,000, I think
Yeah.
he said.
Is that
That
what you
was-
thought?
But I think you have to have an amount, correct? If we're going to use the overlay in fiscal year 26.
We won't know the amount until people apply.
But you can put an amount. I only hit over.
Brendan doesn't have any figures on
for
how
the
many
amount
veterans are
used.
100%.
I think he does have some existing, but this is the existing Veterans Abatement Program. This statute is only allowing those numbers to go higher.
Right.
But the one that's already in there, like we don't appropriate money for that. That's just out of overlay.
And this is overlay.
Right, but I'm saying the current veterans and senior exemptions don't get budgeted. This is just accepting the statute.
Right.
It's a local option that you have to accept that statute by town meeting has to accept it before we can allow the town to participate in the program. So,
Okay, but Article 8 is the senior veterans.
yeah, that's the senior tax rebate program. So that's putting money, extra money aside for people to work. This one here is just increasing the amounts of the current abatements that the assessors give out.
The seniors is also abatements.
But that's not,
They're working for you.
yeah, Article 8 is only the work-off program.
Okay.
The senior abatement program that we get, that's not part of that. That's only the work-off program.
All right. so
You ask
I-
not to exceed?
And do you need a figure in there?
I'm a little bit confused because the senior program, they receive W-2s. We do not pay them anything because what it is they have to receive a W-2 based on ILS regulations. And I have to hit overlay for the amount of the abatement, but it ties into the W-2s and payroll.
Right.
So will the HERO Act be the same way?
No,
No, okay,
the HERO Act, they will not be getting W-2s.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I understand. Sorry,
Do you need a figure? Well,
I
Okay.
don't think so.
All right, I make a motion, we approve Article 9.
Second.
All in favor?
Nice.
All right, 10 and 11 are, so basically we have $2.2 million, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. We have $2.2 million of free cash. These articles are spending about $870,000 of our free cash. Not including 10 and 11 because we don't have amounts in there. So we move some of that free cash every year into the health insurance trust fund and the stabilization fund. Last year in stabilization, I want to say we did 200,000.
750
750. Oh, wow. I'm
and
way off.
150 into OPEB. Every year has
Okay,
been,
that's the one that we did. 150 into,
that's been every year, the OPEB. And stabilization was 500, 500, 750.
okay. So let's do 150 again in Article. I would propose that we do 150K again in Article 10.
I'll second that.
All in favor of 150K into
Okay.
Article 10?
Aye.
yes.
And we'll discuss this with the select board, I guess, but, okay, let me just do some quick math. Okay, so we still have like over $1 million left of free cash. So we could do the 750K again into stabilization fund of Article 11 if everyone was on board with that.
I'll make a motion. I'll second that motion. That isn't a
Okay.
motion, but I'll make a
Yeah,
motion to
okay.
put 750.
I don't know.
I-
Under discussion,
Yeah.
maybe leaving our side. I'm proceeding in this budget section under the assumption that sooner or later, all of the nonsense in Washington is going to manage to find its way down to Clinton Town Hall. Because the federal government will be cutting funds to the state, and the state is going to be cutting funds somewhere. So, I mean, I'm not terribly opposed, but
More
I mean, we
conservative.
do have that $1 million check that you just got, Michael, right?
Right, 1.2 billion.
1.2 that
It'll be
will
closing
count
out.
towards next year's
Right, towards
free cash.
next. Yeah.
So I would take that into account. What does the Board of Selectmen think?
They did not discuss those two articles, so I assume it would be with the subcommittee, maybe talk about, or I think the finance committee would, give their recommendation, and then the subcommittee can talk about it after this
Mhm.
meeting at 5. So.
Okay,
You want to leave it for that?
Mhm.
Okay.
so what will be our recommendation?
I would recommend to the subcommittee 750. You're still
And
gonna
it's-
have
that's
money
been
left over.
seconded.
You're still gonna have money left over.
The stabilization fund is available
Yeah.
cash.
Right.
Yes,
It's basically like a savings account,
Yeah.
is the way I think about it. Okay.
Rob Peter, pay Paul.
Yep. All right, moving down, Article 12, this is the cable account.
I make a motion, we approve Article 12.
I'll second that.
All in favor, Article 12?
Aye.
Article 13, National Grid unpaid bill.
I make a motion, we approve Article 13.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right. Okay, Article 14, reallocating, so this was the Savage Field Vale Street, lighting project. It looks like there was leftover money, about $32,000. Reallocating it to help make other improvements, fencing, backstop, parking lot, which I think is a great idea.
I make a motion, we approve Article 14.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 15, another reallocation, about $47,000 for town hall repairs and improvements.
Move acceptance.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Article 16, reallocate $89,000 from the facilities. They didn't use all of their money on the mower last year to purchase an F-550 truck for the cemetery.
I make a motion, we approve Article 16.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Article 17. Okay, so here we go. So Article 17 is for the High Street, flowers, holiday lightings, flags, everything for High Street. Like I said, this is a biannual article.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Mhm.
I make a motion, we approve Article 17.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just question, does High Street improvements include coming up Church Street? And going down Church Street?
The lights come up, right?
Yeah,
Lights,
Yeah.
It's
this
down.
covers that
Does.
too.
yeah.
I think they come up to.
Yeah.
They come up to the corner and they go down.
Yeah.
If it's a high.
And
call
that,
it
does
High
that
Street
pay for the
improvement.
snow?
Oh, yeah, we should probably
Downtown. just
Well,
call
maybe
it
change it to downtown, yeah.
Yeah, should change it to downtown.
Does that cover the snow removal in the winter time for the, or does this?
That money, no,
No.
no, that comes out of snow and ice budget. That's just for the lighting and plantings.
Okay. Article 18, $50,000 for the purchase of a new vehicle for facilities to replace the 2010 Explorer.
Well, I mean, if somebody moves to approve it, I'm gonna vote no, or I could just, but what would you prefer? I'll make a motion.
Yeah. Well, you shouldn't make the motion. Someone else make the motion to.
All right. Well, I could make a motion to disapprove.
Oh,
it.
yeah, that's
You
true.
could make a motion, to open discussion.
Or I could I'll make a motion that we open discussion on article. That's a good idea. On 18.
Has there been any talk of any, spare vehicles over at the police department, that are not being used? I know there's a couple on the side that, look in decent shape. Mechanically, I don't know how they are, but.
I hadn't heard anything from the police chief that they have anything to surplus. But certainly I can try to give him a call now, see what he says.
I mean, here's my position. I mean, I think, and I like Brendan Bailey very much, but we even bought a vehicle for the Veterans Aid. I mean, really, there's gonna come a day that we're gonna pay the bill. And I mean, it seems like, come to the town of Clinton, we'll pay you $100,000 and buy you a car. Does this guy, is it necessary for this guy to have a car, and is it necessary for it to be a SUV? Is that what's gonna be bought, an SUV?
That was the intent, right? Yeah.
For what purpose? He can't drive his car from here to the cemetery to see that the lawns have been mowed? Pay him whatever the going federal rate is? 50, what is it now, 50 cents, I don't know, but
Yeah, something in that range, yeah.
so that's my position. But if you want to buy him the truck, hey, buy everybody a truck.
All right, so we either need a motion, if someone wants to make a motion to not approve, or if someone wants to make a motion to approve.
I think there's been a
We have a
motion, it's been seconded, it's up for discussion.
For
No, you should have-
discussion, but
You want to vote against it, vote against it.
But can we change that to not be a new vehicle? If he needs a vehicle,
why does he need a vehicle?
well,
The town is 6 square miles.
I think we, I mean, to your point, and what I find tough is, I think we have bought, there was vehicles that came through ARPA. We bought the DPW a new vehicle last year. So I get it, you might want to put your stake in the ground like now with vehicles, but I also am like, we've done it for others. We have cash now.
Well, but there's a reason
I'm
for
not-
others, Aaron. I mean, the DPW director could use a pickup truck. I mean, because I'm sure that he's occasionally hauling stuff from here to there. But I don't know that's true of I mean, how about the director of human resources? He might have to go down to Fuller Field and talk to the people at Parks and Rec. Should he have an SUV to do that?
Certainly.
Because I'll tell you what, pretty soon he's gonna have one.
So what is the open for discussion need for us to discuss right now, or?
Yeah.
I do see Brian, the director, going from place to place. I mean, from the schools to Full Field, to different locations down the Vale. He's pretty active, and I think he probably gets and I think a car would last him, 10 years or better, But what type of vehicle? I mean, there's state bids for all types of different vehicles.
I have no faith in the state bids. I mean, when I was working for the state, they told us, guess what? If you want to buy a computer for your home, you can go and buy it on the state bid for the same price that the state pays, except you could go over here to Best Buy and buy it for cheaper than the state bid. So that state bid argument holds no water with me.
This article also doesn't say what kind of vehicle it would be, so.
I don't know, do we
It
want
does say,
that close?
No, I don't want to, but I'm just saying it doesn't say that it's gonna be an SUV.
Mike, the vehicles that we buy, are they
I'm just
for their use no matter
on the
when?
price.
They can use them 24 hours a day?
No, there's a
No.
policy when they can use them. They're only for work purposes. And if they, and if they,
I got a bridge to sell you, Chuck.
uh,
Why do you think the fire chief don't want no markings on his car?
no.
Why do you suppose that is? Because he's afraid somebody's gonna steal what's inside. Baloney.
But in terms of what it's supposed to be is that there is a policy. It's only supposed to be for work. They can't take it home unless it's approved by the selectmen, have to approve at home cars. And then that way they can go back and forth to their house. But some cars are left on site and people only use them while they're on site here. So.
It's a bad idea for us to not buy a brand new one then? I mean, there's no such thing as buying a 1 or 2 year old or,
Well, this doesn't even say that it has to, I mean, I get it, the amount is $50,000, but it's just to approve an amount for them to buy a vehicle.
Right.
Good point. Good point.
Right, it's not designating what it's gonna be, it's just approving the amount, and I think with the facilities director, there is an expectation that, since that position has been created, there's always been a vehicle that has come with it, and with the current director, to the chief's point, he is on the road a lot. He does move around quite a bit. There are a lot of facilities and that he's out in the field quite a bit. So, and the car he does have is falling apart and broken down on the sides of the road sometimes, when he's using it. So again,
Move the question.
what kind, how much, all that, but in terms of having a vehicle, I think it's probably something that he should have, so.
I'll make them, no, if we approve it and if the police department has a decent vehicle, a reliable vehicle that we can use, we can eliminate the article at some point, instead of, do you have to go through it?
No, well, one of two things is, one is at town meeting, you can always table it, or two, even if the money is authorized, it doesn't have to be spent. So,
Karen, you can read this two ways too. Is it saying, is it a new facilities director vehicle or a new facilities director vehicle that's for a facilities director? I don't see where it says it. I don't know if that's, the way I read it, it's a new vehicle. And
Yeah.
I don't think we need a new vehicle. That's
Well,
my
yeah.
2 cents.
Like, are you talking brand new? Are you, well, so were you gonna make a motion? I just wanna,
As I know.
no,
We have a motion.
Well, we just a motion to
discuss.
discuss. So now we need a motion to approve or disapprove.
Okay.
I would say.
yeah, I think so too.
I'll make a motion that we approve Article 18. And if a vehicle is available, a reliable vehicle is available, that we would make a motion to table the article if, I feel that he needs a vehicle.
I'll go
Yeah.
along with that.
Yeah, I just know that
But
he's
I know one?
all over the
I
place.
know one or no?
I don't know
Well,
if new,
I
I
don't-
think
I
we're
don't think we're in
reading
the
too far
practice
into
of
it.
buying
It's just
used
a new,
vehicles.
it's a newer
Okay.
vehicle than what he
Yeah.
has.
No, it's 50,000, however you want to spend.
Right.
Does it have to be a $50,000 vehicle? I don't know, $50,000. I mean, state bid, NPH. I know Mike doesn't like state bid, but on vehicles, 30 to 35% off the,
Or so they say.
well.
Were
But anyway,
Were you
It-
seconding it, Paul, when you said you support that?
I don't support it. I don't necessarily support a new vehicle. No, I don't know how you change it. Okay, I
All
think
right,
you should have a vehicle.
I'm gonna second his motion.
Okay.
You read the motion?
This one?
I guess my motion is
is?
$50,000, and if a reliable vehicle is available from another department, that we would table this article at town hall for
Who's the arbiter as to whether the vehicle is
available.
correctly?
If it's available,
Who's the arbiter?
I don't know. I guess.
One, if it's available, and two, if it's worthy.
Is it worthy?
I think, yeah. All right, are we allowed to do it that way? We need to kind of like make a decision on this and move on.
I'll make the motion that we accept the article as written.
I would second that motion.
now what is the motion to approve it as?
Approve
written?
Article
Yes.
18.
Okay.
And I think, just not that it prolonged discussion, but I think to the chair's point, when it says new, I don't think it means it has to be brand new. I think it's new, meaning it's a new vehicle for that department. It's replacing the vehicle, it's not.
But if someone gives you $50,000 okay, what are you gonna get? Who's gonna buy it? Okay,
Right.
let's get it off the
Yep.
table. though. We've got a
Right.
motion made second. Let's go. Sorry.
All in favor of Article 18? Aye.
All right.
All opposed?
Opposed.
I think you're reading too far into it.
All right, so one opposed. All right, move to Article 19. Okay, so, okay, this is moving money out of the stabilization fund, right? $1 million for DPW road resurfacing work.
Right, from the capital stabilization,
Yeah.
from the infrastructure.
Do we do this every year or?
We do
Yeah.
do an amount last year. Mr. Bartlett was new, so he asked for 250. Because there was already some projects already in the works, but now those projects are all done. So he's looking to do 1 million to get a whole list of projects, which again, I know the finance asked. I'll give you a copy of those streets before you leave today.
Okay, makes sense.
And the state puts in some money too, right?
Right, we do get some chapter 90 funding as well too. It's about 320 a year on top of that, so that doesn't go all that far.
So that's what, a quarter mile or something?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, Article 20, $60,000. Oh, this is actually, before we get into this, just as an FYI, there were several things that DPW was asking for, some water pump pieces, filters, things, so there was some cleanup done to kind of move some of his asks that he was going to put in motions into his enterprise fund, so that it didn't have to, sorry, not in motions, in articles, so that it didn't have to be in an article, it could just be in his enterprise fund. So there was some cleanup in terms of like what DPW was asking for, and this is kind of what's remaining. So Article 20 is $60,000 for a 4x4 pickup truck with a plow to replace a current vehicle 2002 pickup.
I'll make a motion, we approve that. Article.
Second.
All in favor, Article 20?
Aye.
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 Okay. Article 21 is the project, correct? So this was a DPW project that did not get approved by the state. Sounds like some of the expectations changed, and now that they're looking for 385. So that's coming out of free cash as well.
Right.
$385,000 to design this Sterling Street project. And Mike, we don't have to go through it now, but Mike did hand out materials that kind of went over.
That's a lower figure than initially.
Exactly. I think the estimate was 450, but that amount from that engineer is 383, so we rounded it to 385.
So we'd be going with the same engineer?
I
Or
spoke
are
with,
is this gonna be bid?
no, I think we'll take a look at that. I spoke with Mr. Bartlett today about the select board and finance committee both had made that suggestion, so I did let him know that today, so, yeah, so we can.
Mike, on a television, on a show, what they show, is more televised, select board, they're talking more than 385,000, aren't they?
No, I think the initial estimate was 450, but in that memo, the engineer is saying it would be 383, so.
Okay, 385, that broken down there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the superintendent of public works was satisfied, putting that down to 385. Yep.
I'll make a motion that we approve,
I'll second it.
and that's when it gets, if it gets approved, the plan, the state's gonna pay $6 million to
For the construction.
the
Yep.
construction of the
Yep.
project.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Article 22 is a borrow, I believe, right? Yes, so this is $2 million to borrow, again, for the DPW, the sewer infiltration and inflow phase 2 project.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
So they've already had 2 million where they did the study, they did some pipelining. They're currently trying to get in compliance with DEP regulations for their outflow into the sewer treatment plant. So the engineer estimate is for another 2 million of work that will be done to try to correct the system, to try to reduce those flows coming out of the system into the Clinton wastewater treatment plant. So this will probably be done over a couple of years. It won't, it's just a borrowing authorization, and the money will be borrowed as needed over the next couple of years while they're doing it.
They've already checked the pipes and they know where they're gonna do the work.
Yeah, they have identified areas that they're gonna work, yeah.
And it's required from the,
Yeah, it's
So there's no getting around it.
DEP and MWRA that, it's,
I'll make a motion, we approve the sewer project, Article 21,
Second.
2022 rather.
Now, Michael, I just have a question under discussion. Does the town still require developers if they're like these people who are putting in the condos and apartment buildings, sort of here and there all over town? Are they required to do any remediation work as they were in the past, or is that done by the boards?
no, that should be, as far as I'm aware, that order should still be in place, a moratorium, that I haven't been aware that it was lifted, so I can check on that to see what.
I mean,
the-
okay, I mean, Bob, you're not on the planning board, so you wouldn't know.
There's a lot of stuff that's not on paper anywhere.
Well, geez, it should be in paper if we're requiring people to do sewer. What it used to be is, and I'm not, if you were going to be adding 30,000 gallons of outflow into the sewer system, you had to remediate 30,000 gallons of inflow in order to get your building permit approved.
Yeah, it used to be at a ratio of 4 to 1, then it went
Okay.
down to 2 to 1, and then it, got further reduced.
It's got to be 1-to-1?
I believe, yeah, so I can.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can double check.
Well,
on
I'm
that.
gonna vote for it, but I mean, it's worth looking into
Sure.
if.
Yep.
Is it might have slipped by the boards.
Okay, all in favor of 22? Aye. Article 23 is, the DPW backhoe tractor. 150K.
I make a motion, we approve Article 23.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Article 24. Oh, this one's always confusing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
So it 650K is listed, $625,000 for the rail trail project, but we get $500,000 in a grant back, right?
Exactly.
So it's essentially works out to be $125,000 from free cash that the town is putting towards the rail trail.
But we have to appropriate the full amount.
Yeah, you authorize the full amount and then the state reimburses you, but we really only usually allocate the 125 because that's all that we spend. Because if we don't get the grant, we're not going to spend the 500,
Right.
so we're not doing it.
Right.
But the state just wants to see that you've authorized it for reimbursement.
Right.
Is this an annual thing?
It has been because they've been fortunate enough to be getting,
ongoing.
the money, the grants, which, and the grant went in February. They were hoping to have an answer by town meeting, but it's probably coming very shortly. So if they don't get the grant, it won't be needed. If they don't get 500,000 of the grant, then the match will be less. So they put in for 500, and getting 500's been a boon for them to do that project, and that's the max grant. So it's been really helpful to get that project along, but this is still unknown.
Okay. All right.
I'll make a motion, we approve that.
Second.
All in favor, Article 24?
Aye.
Aye. And then Article 25, I don't know that we can't vote on this yet, right? Because the fire department is still in negotiations on their contract, but I think getting close to a place where they're going to reach an agreement. So we would owe back 2 years in retro wages. And so that would be a free cash line item. But I know we run into this before. I guess we can't vote on it, right, until we have, I know.
Right.
Okay, so we table it. Sorry, is there anything else money-wise that we need to vote on before I ask another question? I don't think so.
So
So from a timing perspective, the select board's gonna vote on these next Wednesday. When do we need to have them? Everyone's voted on it, they're approved, and they're done.
all the articles.
Yes,
It probably by this meeting. So,
today.
yeah.
So well, I guess what do we do about that fire article then?
So then what you would do is then you would have to give your recommendation at town meeting.
Oh, right.
So-
Yeah, we've done that
so,
before.
yeah.
We get up and we say we didn't have enough time. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So,
I
you know,
think I-
generally, it's not a legal requirement that it be published in the paper, but that's always been the practice, so the townspeople know your position on it.
Mhm.
But the legal requirement is that you just advise town meeting, either in writing or verbally. This just, having it in the warrant just prevents you having to get up every article and explain the finances position on that finance committee position. So, so that can be done at town meeting.
Okay. All right, and then for the budget, we're having what's it called? Public hearing, is that what it's called? Next Thursday, the 22nd at
Six.
6 PM? Do we need to have a meeting before that to vote on the finalized budget, or can we do it in that meeting?
You could do it at that meeting. However, if you ended up that you didn't have quorum,
Mm.
you would not have a budget for town meeting.
Aaron, is there any way of changing it to the 21st instead of the 22nd, or is that no good?
Could we, or is it posted already? The 22nd?
Public hearing,
Yeah,
it was in the paper Friday. It had to be.
okay.
Green.
And who can make it on the 22nd at 6 PM?
I can, I'm gonna be away.
I won't be away also.
Okay.
I can.
How many do we need?
Four.
So what do we do, sorry, what do we do outside of the budget? What do we do about public hearing if we don't have enough finance committee people?
You just don't have any votes. And I don't know if you wanted to change the budget, you really wouldn't be able to.
No, it would be an amendment, have to do it as an amendment at town meeting. So you can still have the public hearing, take the input, but then if you feel it was really critical to the budget had to be changed, then at the beginning of that article at town meeting, you would just make it an amendment right away at the beginning, so.
Michael, we could have one or two members zoom in on the meeting and it
You
would
could.
still be a valid meeting,
Yep.
meet the quorum.
Yep.
requirement.
Yep.
So that would be my suggestion, that those who are not going to be here, those who are most comfortable with technology,
Which is not me.
what does the town use, Zoom?
But we'll have four there. Will we have four there or not? That's what.
No, me, Bob, Mike,
Bill won't be there?
no.
Yeah.
Well, okay, do you all want to meet either on Tuesday or Wednesday that week to go through the finalized budget?
I'm gonna be away all next
All
week.
week.
I can meet anytime now. I
Okay.
mean, I'll meet anytime now.
Okay, I can meet on Tuesday again if you want, and that's when we can go through the finalized budget, just so everyone can see the finalized budget and vote on the finalized budget. And then the hearing, like, I'm not that worried about us needing to make changes at it.
Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but if they met Tuesday or Wednesday and voted the budget, that could be the final vote.
Sure.
Yeah,
As long, it goes to the town clerk Friday morning.
yeah,
So
So
as
we'll
long
meet
as you had. a
Tuesday.
vote,
yeah, we'll meet Tuesday. What time is good for
The
people?
20th?
Yeah,
Well, I mean, I can meet anytime on Tuesday, the 20th, I guess.
4 o'clock Tuesday, the 20th, and we'll vote on the final budget. We'll have the public hearing on the 22nd, still at 6 o'clock, because we have to.
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Karen, will we have for Tuesday?
yeah,
4 o'clock.
4
Tuesday.
o'clock Tuesday. No, you will not, you will not be there. He will not be there.
Okay.
that's okay.
Okay, so a Tuesday at 4 o'clock.
For the town, for the public hearing.
I'm sorry.
Quorum for the public hearing.
You would need a quorum to vote if you were gonna make any changes.
Oh, right, I
Yeah.
understand that, but if we're not, but if we're going to vote on Tuesday and we're not gonna vote, well, we can't vote if there's not a quorum.
Right,
But we can hold the public hearing
right.
in the absence of a quorum.
Right.
Okay, that's my question.
Okay, all right, excellent. Anything else before we'll wrap up?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.